Tonight, somewhere between the noise and the ache, a question is knocking. Why do some men grow sharper in solitude while others slowly unravel behind a closed door? You know the tug. You step back to regain yourself, and instead of clarity, the mind begins to spin. The room gets quiet, but the body doesn't. Thoughts multiply, the chest tightens, the hours blur. It feels like you're drifting even while anchored in place. If that is you, you are not weak. And you are not late. You are a man standing at a threshold that few are taught to cross well. Solomon's wisdom begins at that threshold. Solitude is not escape. It is a meeting place. It is the inner court where motives are weighed and desires are sifted. Isolation hides, solitude listens. Isolation serves impulse. Solitude trains intention. One closes the door to avoid the world. The other closes the door to become someone the world can trust. The difference is not the silence around you. The difference is the stance within you. When you choose the stance of a steward, the room turns into a sanctuary and your attention becomes a royal instrument. There is a reason it feels hard at first. Your nervous system has been taught by constant alerts and endless scrolls to anticipate interruption. In quiet, that system searches for danger that never arrives. Heart rate lifts, shoulders brace, breath climbs the chest. This is not failure. It is a body trying to protect you with outdated alarms. As the breath lengthens and the gaze softens, the brain's threat center settles, and the prefrontal regions, where foresight, planning, and wise restraint live, come back online. Practical spirituality meets emotional neuroscience here. The sacred is not far away. It is as near as the next steady breath and the next honest thought brought into the light. Imagine your interior life as a walled city, not a fortress of cold stone, but a living place with gardens, workshops, and gates. Every day, many things ask to enter. Voices, opinions, memories, desires. Mastery begins at the gate. What will be welcomed because it nourishes? What will be inspected because it flatters? What will be refused because it corrodes? The man who governs his gates governs his future, not by force, but by clarity, not by perfection, but by pattern. Each small, repeated decision lays another stone in the wall, and with each stone, the wind howls a little less. Yet walls alone do not make a city wise. Within the city, there are councils and craft. The solitary man who grows is not anti-people. He is anti-crowdthink. He seeks few voices with high signal. A sage who reminds him of principles when emotion runs hot. A specialist who sharpens the exact skill that carries his calling. A mirror who tells him the truth when success begins to blur his edges. 3 voices are enough to steady a season. Too many and the signal is lost. Too few and blind spots turn into collapses. Wisdom here is curated, not gathered like trinkets. It is weighed like gold, and then there is the hidden work, the part no one applauds. The hands-on hours when improvement is so small it looks invisible. Solomon does not flatter the crowd. He dignifies the craftsman. The man who trains his hands will eventually stand before kings, not because he chased thrones, but because excellence carries its own sound. In the quiet shop of your life, the plane shaves the wood a little cleaner, the line of code runs a little leaner, the sentence lands a little truer, the practice scale rings a little clearer. Private precision precedes public trust. What you polish in silence becomes visible when it must, and only then. Time, too, is a teacher in this city. Under a royal patience, seasons replace moods as the measure of progress. There is a time to sow, and a time to see. There is a time to water what looks stubbornly unchanged. There is a time to rest, not as escape, but as obedience to how growth actually works. When anxiety demands a guarantee, wisdom offers a garden. Seeds do not argue, they become. You place them in the ground of daily practice, and you keep placing them, because compounding is slow until it is sudden. The harvest is not earned by panic. It is welcomed by consistency. You may feel the conflict now, A part of you wants to rush and prove. Another part longs to slow and see. The rushing part is afraid of being forgotten. The seeing part remembers that meaning is not manufactured. It is revealed when you are steady enough to notice the next right thing. Solomon would call you back to the center, to the steady posture of a man who governs himself first. Not to shrink from the world, but to be the kind of presence the world quietly leans on. The gate grows discerning, the walls grow sound, the counsel grows wise, the workbench grows faithful, the field grows seeded. Hear this with compassion. Your pain is not a sign that you are broken. It is evidence that your life refuses to remain shallow. The ache you feel in the quiet is the pressure of depth forming. In that ache, you can choose to numb, or you can choose to notice. You can choose the distraction that keeps you spinning, or the attention that begins to align you. Again and again, attention is the hinge. When attention wanders, the city leaks. When attention returns, the city remembers itself. So the question that began at the door returns, but softer, steadier, more precise. In the quiet that you say you want, what will you welcome? What will you weigh, and what will you release? If wisdom grows in chosen silence, which gate will you close, and which seed will you plant before this day ends? There is a difference that changes everything, and it begins in the quiet. Solitude is not escape. Solitude is a meeting place. Isolation hides and hardens the heart. Solitude opens the inner court and lets wisdom speak. One draws the curtain so no one can see, the other closes the door so the soul can see clearly. The room may look the same from the outside, but inside the stance is different. In isolation, the mind circles around old desires until the body grows numb. In solitude, attention becomes a lantern and the air grows breathable again. Solomon saw the danger long ago. The one who isolates himself chases only his own desire and ends up cut off from counsel, not because the world is enemy, but because the unguarded desire becomes king. When desire rules without wisdom, the heart becomes a small throne in a large echo. You know how it feels when the silence arrives and the body does not believe it is safe. The chest tightens as if waiting for a blow that never comes. The eyes scan for threats even in an empty room. The breath climbs high and short. This is the nervous system doing its faithful, clumsy best. It has been trained by constant pings and the press of urgency to expect interruption. When the room goes quiet, the old alarms keep ringing. This is not a flaw in character. This is wiring calling for gentler rhythms. As the breath descends and lengthens, the brain's inner sentinel relaxes and the thinking regions warm back to life. Practical spirituality enters here, close to the skin. Sacred does not mean distant. It means steady. It means present. It means the body and the spirit learning to sit in the same chair. Imagine a gate at the edge of your inner city, not a heavy iron portcullis, but a wooden gate weathered by years, warm to the touch, firm without being cruel. Everything in your day approaches this gate and asks to come in. Voices from screens, memories that ache, opinions dressed as facts, hidden fears wearing the mask of urgency. The gate does not shout. The gate weighs. Some things nourish and belong inside the walls. Some things distract and pass by when left alone. Some things corrode and must be turned away with a steady hand. The man who treats his attention like a gatekeeper begins to feel the city grow calm. Decisions turn from drama into duty. Energy wasted on fights with shadows returns to the work that matters. Quietly, the inner climate changes. There is a rhythm that turns this image into life. Gatekeeping the day, not a performance, not a test, simply a meeting with oneself while the world is still soft. 20 minutes can be enough. The clock is not the point is presence. A chair that faces a window or a wall, a breath that slows until the shoulders drop, a mind that is allowed to settle like sediment in clear water. Then 3 gentle measures. What must be guarded? What must be given? What must be gone? Guarded might be the hour you protect for craft, or the tenderness you refuse to harden. Given might be the apology you owe, or the listening you promise. Gone might be a habit that flatters and drains, or a voice that confuses and divides. The words are simple. The choosing is royal. There is a pain many men carry into this practice. They retreat to focus and end up adrift, as if the quiet magnified every noise inside them. Thoughts race like startled birds. The body grows heavy and restless at once. The mind senses failure where there is only unfamiliarity. Here, compassion must be louder than pressure. No one learns a new climate without discomfort. The first sunlight after a long night startles the eyes. The first stillness after long noise startles the nerves. Slow breath by slow breath, the body learns a new truth. The quiet is not a threat. The quiet is a gate. Passing through it takes time, and time is not against you. Solomon honored self-government more than spectacle. He warned that a life without self-control resembles a city with broken walls. Once the walls fall, anything enters. Old habits return as if invited. Small provocations turn into large fires. A word spoken in heat becomes a season of repair. When the walls stand, not everything gets in and not everything gets out. Inputs are weighed, outputs are measured. He did not speak of perfection. He spoke of patterns strong enough to carry weight. In a frantic world, patterns look like rebellion. In a wise life, they look like freedom. The gate image carries a subtle tenderness. It does not scold. It invites you to notice. Notice what happens in your body when a certain voice arrives. The jaw tightens, the heart drops, the breath stops. The body tells the truth before the mind finds the words. Notice what happens when another voice arrives. The shoulders ease, the eyes lift, the breath deepens. The body knows nourishment and the body knows noise. Let these signals become part of discernment. Spiritual wisdom and emotional signals can walk together. They are not enemies, they are partners under a patient king. There are moments in solitude when shame tries to take the seat at the table. It whispers that you should have learned this already. It mocks the slowness of your progress. It points at the gap between who you want to be and who you have been. Shame promises control and delivers paralysis. Compassion tells the truth without the sting. Compassion says you are not your last bad day. You are the steward of your next faithful one. Compassion does not excuse. Compassion equips. It returns you to the gate with clear eyes and a steady hand. What grows in this kind of room is not thin positivity. What grows is weight, a gentle gravity that holds you when noise attempts to pull you apart. Decisions begin to carry the echo of your values. Conversations slow just enough for meaning to emerge. The appetite for constant novelty fades, replaced by an appetite for what lasts. Attention becomes a craft, and the room becomes a workshop. The city stops leaking. The walls begin to hold. Solomon's wisdom breathes through these simple images for a reason. They meet you where you actually live. In the moment you reach for your phone without knowing why, in the space between the inhale and the word you are about to say, in the doorway of your home when you carry the day's weight into the night, the gate, the wall, the inner court. These are not ideas on a page. They are places inside you waiting to be tended. When the day is finished, the measure of solitude is not how perfectly you were alone. The measure is whether your aloneness turned you toward wisdom or away from it. Did the room make you smaller or more whole? Did the silence narrow your heart or widen it? Did your desire rule you, or did you sit it down and hear what it really wanted? In time, the inner city learns to trust its keeper. The gate grows discerning, the wall grows sound, the court grows quiet and bright, and the man at the center grows simple in the best sense of the word, whole, steady, aligned. In the end, that is how mastery begins, not with a shout, with a room, with a gate, with a man who chooses to listen until the listening becomes a way of life. Some days feel like open country with no boundaries at all. A stray comment crashes through like a gust of winter wind. A headline shifts the mood of the next hour. An urge rises, and before the mind can weigh it, The hands have already agreed. Solomon looked at that feeling and saw a city with broken walls, not because you are careless or weak, but because the important places have not been protected long enough to grow strong. The heart is still good, the city is still yours. Yet without walls, the best parts are trampled by whatever arrives first. What would it feel like to live inside a place that can hold when the weather changes? The body would breathe lower, the thoughts would move slower, meaning would not leak through the cracks. A wall is not a prison, and a gate is not a threat. A wall keeps shape. A gate gives choice. Together they make space for a life. Self-government begins where shape and choice meet. The shape is your pattern of living. The choice is your moment-to-moment yes and no. When you have shape, you do not need to chase control over other people. When you have choice, you do not need to fear every appetite that wakes up inside you. The room stays yours. The day stays yours. Even the storm belongs to the season rather than to your identity. There is a quiet intelligence in the body that knows when the walls are down. The jaw tightens at small friction. The shoulders lift toward the ears as if trying to climb away from the present. The breath shortens. The eyes scan. This is not rebellion. It is a body trying to manage a world without edges. When the walls return, the same body softens without permission. The heart steadies. The gaze widens so you can see farther than the problem right in front of you. Self-government is not a cold rule. It is a kindness to your own nervous system. It is a decision to live with edges on a map that used to smear. Every city needs watchmen, and every life needs a pair of quiet guardians. One watches what enters. One watches what leaves. What enters is the stream of stories and images and moods that ask to live in you. What leaves is the stream of words and actions and agreements that carry your name into the world. When the first guardian grows wise, your inputs calm down. The frantic tone of the day lowers. The empty noise loses its glamour. When the second guardian grows wise, your outputs become clean. Fewer words are wasted. Fewer promises bruise your future. When both are awake at once, a man begins to feel that rare blend of strength without noise. There are seasons when breaches appear anyway. A long week erodes a corner and the wind finds the gap. An old resentment learns a new language and slips past the gate. A neglected fatigue wears the mask of courage and runs you past your limits. None of this means the city is lost. It means the walls are telling the truth about where attention is needed. You notice the breach. You trace its edges. You learn what invited it and what would heal it. Repair becomes faster than collapse. Humility becomes lighter than shame. Over time, the wall does not become perfect, it becomes trusted. Self-government is simple to describe and hard to counterfeit. It looks like consistency where drama used to live. It looks like steady refusals that no longer require speeches. It looks like a man who is not startled by his own strength because he met it slowly in honest rooms. When the appetite surges, he knows its history and can sit with it without making a vow he cannot keep. When anger tries to blaze, he can feel the spark without throwing it at someone he loves. The wall is not a performance. The wall is a memory that you can be this steady again tomorrow. The mind learns from what it repeats. The heart heals from what it is allowed to feel without being rushed. The body trusts what it experiences, often in safety. Bring these truths together and the walls grow from the inside out. The mind practices choosing the next wise thought. The heart practices staying with the real feeling until it tells the whole story. The body practices a paced breath until stress loses its ability to lie. None of this is loud, none of this is glamorous, but the climate changes. The inner weather stops swinging from heat to hail. The city begins to enjoy its own streets. There are tells that reveal when the walls are working. Impulses take an extra beat before they turn into action. That small beat is not hesitation, it is sovereignty. Conversations gather depth because there is room for another person to exist without threatening your shape. Work becomes less of a scene and more of a craft. You are less interested in proving and more interested in building. The clock still moves, but it no longer drives like a whip. Time returns as a friend that keeps pace rather than a critic that demands a sprint. Many men fear that walls will make them smaller. The opposite is true when the walls are wise. Walls refuse what steals your life so that your life can widen. They keep out corrosion so the gardens can grow thick. They soften the noise so the songs can be heard. People who live near you begin to relax. They learn that your words are not weather. They learn that your presence is not a gamble. This quiet reliability becomes influence without announcement. Leaders with loud commands are common. Leaders who carry calm are rare. The first collects attention. The second builds trust. Solomon named the unguarded life and left us a mirror. The city without walls is not cursed, it is at risk. The guarded life is not severe, it is generous. Because it keeps what matters, it can give what matters. Because it weighs what enters, it can send out what heals. There is a dignity that rises in such a place. Not pride, not hardness. Dignity, a settled sense that your life is answerable to something higher than your latest mood and kinder than your harshest voice. In time, the sound of the city changes. Morning does not start with panic. Night does not end with regret. The middle hours carry a sense of clean labor. People who visit the gates leave either nourished or turned away without injury. The watchmen know their work, and the work is never finished. This is not a flaw. This is the nature of living things. Walls are tended, gates are oiled, streets are swept. The city breathes. Self-government build the city walls. Let that sentence settle like a foundation stone. It asks for patience. It promises strength. It does not make you immune to weather. It makes you ready to meet it. And when the wind rises again, as it always does, it will find you within your walls. Not hiding, not posturing, not scattered, present, steady, capable of bearing weight without breaking the people you love or the work you are called to carry. The world will not always see the beauty of that discipline, but those who stand close enough will feel it. They will feel the calm and breathe a little easier, and you will know that the walls have become a home. Silence can be honest and still leave a man unsure. There are days when the inner room is steady, and yet a decision refuses to reveal its shape. The heart wants to honor what is right. The mind wants to measure the road, and the body carries a restlessness that will not quiet by sheer will. This is the moment when Solomon's wisdom turns the solitary man toward counsel, not toward the crowd that cheers in waves and vanishes in minutes, but toward a small circle where words are weighed and character is known. The solitary man who grows is not against people, he is against noise. He chooses presence over popularity, depth over volume, signal over spectacle. Solomon understood the gravity of proximity. Walk with the wise, and your steps begin to carry their cadence. Wander without guidance, and even strong legs find ways to trip on small stones. It is not superstition, it is human wiring. The nervous system watches what it trusts and copies what it believes will keep it safe. Sit near courage, and your breathing loosens. Sit near panic, and your muscles brace. This is why a counsel matters. It is not only the words that shape you, it is the climate around those words. In a healthy circle, dignity is the air, and honesty is the light. The soul leans forward on its own. Picture a simple wooden table in a quiet room. No stage, no applause. Just enough chairs for a true exchange. At one chair sits memory of first principles. The elder voice that speaks to the bones of a matter when emotions run hot. At another chair sits practiced skill, the artisan voice that understands process and can spot a flaw in the seam before the cloth tears. At the third sits a clear mirror, the rare voice that reflects you without flattering you and still believes in your capacity to grow. Principle, skill, mirror. This is not a committee. It is a compass. The needles point to what is right. to what works, and to who you are becoming. The solitary man often resists this table at first. He has built strength in the quiet and would rather not invite interference. He fears dilution. He fears misunderstanding. He fears being asked to explain the parts of his calling that feel too sacred for debate. Wisdom answers with gentleness. A counsel does not replace solitude, it refines it. A counsel does not speak over conviction, it helps conviction hear itself. When the room is chosen well, solitude returns from the meeting more focused, not less. The mind carries cleaned questions. The heart carries clarified motives. The body carries the relief that comes from being seen and still respected. There is a danger in wide rooms with shallow floors. Advice multiplies without cost to the giver. Attention becomes a currency, and opinions chase it like birds after breadcrumbs. The soul begins to tire. The simple feels complicated. The clear path fogs under 10 competing slogans. Solomon warned of the fall that follows when there is no steady guidance, and the fall rarely comes all at once. It arrives as hesitation at every crossroads. It arrives as the need to ask one more stranger for a certainty that cannot be outsourced. The antidote is not stubborn isolation. The antidote is a small table with weight-bearing chairs. A true counsel shapes the nervous system as much as the mind. In the right company, the jaw eases and the shoulders lower. The breath reaches the belly. The prefrontal regions that plan and weigh can do their work because threat has left the doorway. Calm is not laziness here. Calm is competence. In such a climate, you can face the unflattering thing you did last week without drowning in shame. You can consider the risk that feels a size too big and listen for the signal hidden inside the fear. You can hold the tension between faith and prudence without splitting yourself in half. The table works because each chair carries a different light. The elder voice brings the steady glow of principle. What is the good that must not be traded away? What is the boundary that protects the heart of the work? The artisan voice brings the clear lamp of process. What steps turn a vision into a build? What failure teaches faster than another month of theory? The mirror brings daylight. Here is how your words land. Here is how your eyes change when you avoid what hurts to name. The three lights together reveal what no single brightness can show. Principle without craft becomes rhetoric. Craft without character becomes manipulation. Character without principle loses its north. Some men fear that a counsel will take the ownership out of their decisions. The opposite becomes true. When you have weighed a matter in good company, you return to your solitude able to stand under the choice you carry. There is a settled quality to the yes and to the no, not because someone approved you, because the truth became clearer in the presence of those who love the truth more than they love pleasing you. That kind of love is rare. It does not flatter, it does not punish. It honors your agency and calls your courage by its name. There are seasons when the counsel must be especially small, early work that is tender, a turning point that not everyone can understand. The table narrows to protect what is forming. There are other seasons when the table can widen a little because the work needs new eyes. Even then the essence remains. Few voices, high signal. The measure is not status. The measure is fruit. Does the conversation leave you more honest and more capable? Does it quiet the fear that shrinks you and amplify the reverence that steadies you? Does it return you to your craft with cleaner hands? Over time, a secret strength forms in men who keep such company. They are slower to react and quicker to understand. They do not need the world to be small in order to feel tall. They do not need to win every argument because they are more interested in the right outcome than the last word. Their influence grows without noise because trustworthy decisions accumulate. People feel safe around them, not bored. Safe. Safety allows others to think. Safety allows others to tell the truth. Safety turns rooms into places where solutions are born instead of fights. Solomon's counsel is not a slogan carved in stone. It is a living pattern. Walk with the wise. Refuse the momentum of the careless. We become what our attention rehearses and we absorb what our company normalizes. Stand in gossip and the mind bends towards suspicion. Stand in dignity and the mind remembers its height. Sit with craftsmen, and the hands itch to build. Sit with cynics, and the heart grows thin. This is not magic. It is moral ecology. It is emotional neuroscience wearing simple clothes. The solitary counsel few voices, high signal. Let the image anchor the next stretch of your road. A quiet room, a wooden table, 3 lights that keep one another honest. Principle speaking to your bones. Craft teaching your hands. A mirror telling the truth and believing in your strength. When such a table exists, solitude no longer has to carry everything alone. And when solitude returns, it knows where to place what it is carrying. There is a room that decides more than any stage. The light is softer there. The air smells faintly of wood or paper or oil, and time loses its shout. Hands move without fanfare. Eyes lean in. Breathing settles into a pace that feels honest. Nothing dramatic happens at first. The craft is almost invisible, yet this quiet, where no one claps and no one watches, is where a life gathers weight. The pull for attention is real. A part of the heart longs to be seen, to be named, to be chosen. Another part knows that applause cannot build a foundation. Solomon honored the place where skill is shaped away from the noise. He knew that true competence is not theatrical. It is patient. It is precise. It is the slow placing of one true line beside another until strength becomes natural. Over time, the person who trains in the hidden rooms is invited into larger rooms, not because the rooms need a star, but because they need what is trustworthy. Hidden work feels lonely sometimes. It can taste like rain and iron. The progress is small enough to miss, and the doubts arrive with perfect timing. The mind questions whether any of it matters. The body wonders why it is tired without trophies to show for it. Here is a truth that steadies. Every repetition tells the brain what to grow. With each careful pass, pathways thicken. Attention becomes less fragile. The motions that once trembled begin to flow. It is not magic. It is design in motion, woven into muscle and mind by faithful practice. Spirituality lives in this room as surely as skill. The sacred does not only visit temples, it visits workbenches and notebooks and kitchens and studios. It visits the moment when a sentence is shaved until it lands clean. It visits the moment when a chord finally stops fighting the ear and begins to ring. It visits the moment when a joint fits so well, the seam disappears. Reverence rises in these moments, not toward the self, but toward the order of things, toward the quiet laws that reward attention with clarity. Craving recognition is human. It spikes as easily as a flash of sugar. The nervous system gets a burst, then drops into hunger again. Hidden work feeds differently. It settles the stomach of the soul. The body softens as it trusts the rhythm. Shoulders lower, jaw loosens, breath fills the belly. The thinking regions of the brain step forward because threat has left the doorway. Calm in this room is not laziness. Calm is a readiness that hears the material speak and answers without rush. There is a private elegance in the way craft reshapes character. Precision trains humility because mistakes are teachers here and not enemies. Repetition trains resilience because the day does not decide your worth. It reveals your direction. Focus trains kindness because what you make begins to serve more than your mood. Hidden work is not a tunnel that steals color. It is a kiln that hardens beauty until it can travel. The workbench holds more than tools. It holds memory. It remembers the first awkward attempts. It remembers the afternoon when everything felt heavy and you stayed in the room anyway. It remembers the evening when the piece finally turned and the line finally sang. Memory like this becomes a kind of spine. On difficult days, it keeps you standing. On good days, it keeps you honest. The room teaches you that confidence is not a mask you wear. Confidence is a record of promises kept with the craft. Solomon voiced a simple path. The person skilled in their work will not remain in small places. forever. That sentence is not a ladder for ambition. It is a window into how trust is assigned. People bring weighty matters to steady hands. Doors open to those who have learned to carry without dropping. Yet the irony remains gentle and wise. Those who chase thrones usually fall from stools. Those who polish quietly are seated when it counts. Patience is the weather in which this growth takes root. Long horizons, short feedback, steady seasons. The mind wants the harvest while the seed is still dry. The soul wants the song before the scales have taught the fingers to listen. The body wants to leap while the joints still need time to strengthen. Patience does not stare at the clock. Patience listens for the moment the work itself says enough for today and more tomorrow. In that listening, burnout loses its grip. Pace becomes a friend. A curious thing happens as hidden work deepens. The way you see the world changes. You notice structure in a building that others pass without a glance. You hear the craft inside a voice and the labor inside a simple line of code or a clean stitch. Gratitude grows because you understand what it costs to make something that lasts. This gratitude keeps ambition from turning brittle. It keeps influence from turning cruel. It keeps success from turning loud. Royal results do not arrive dressed in gold. They arrive as trust that circles back to your name without fanfare. They arrive as invitations that ask for your presence, not your performance. They arrive as peace in your own body when you sit down to work, because the room has become a friend and not a judge. In time, the man who honors the hidden room becomes visible in ways that surprise him. He is not surprised by his own worth. He is surprised by how little he needs to prove it. Hidden work, royal results. Let the words settle like dust in sunlight. There is a quiet justice woven into this way. What is faithful beneath the surface becomes strong at the surface. What is shaped in silence holds steady in noise. And the man who once needed the world to look his way finds that the world now looks for what he can quietly bring. Some hopes cannot be rushed. They grow like vineyards on a hillside, layer by layer, root by root, until the land itself learns to hold them. The heart knows this in its quietest rooms, yet the mind still aches for proof by nightfall. Anxiety tightens when results refuse to appear on command. The chest lifts and drops with a stubborn rhythm. Sleep turns light, and the thoughts loop through what if and what now. Solomon answered that ache with the patience of seasons. There is a time to place seed in the dark earth, and a time to gather what the earth has agreed to return. Between those times, there is rain and sun and wind and stillness. Between those times, there is faithfulness. Mastery begins to breathe when time is seen as a partner rather than a judge. The man who lives by days alone will think he is failing each time a cloud passes. The man who lives by seasons learns to watch the sky without panic. He works in the weather that is given and trusts the work that is hidden. He does not call a field barren because it is not yet green. He does not tear up the ground to check whether roots are growing. He learns the steady art of letting the unseen do its work while the seen receives his care. Long horizon does not mean vague effort. It means clear attention applied again and again until the line becomes true. This is where feedback takes its seat beside patience. Not the loud kind that humiliates when you miss, the quiet kind that looks at a day with kind eyes and learns what it can teach. A small time at the end of the day can hold 3 simple glances. What strengthened me? What drained me? What wisdom did I meet? No scolding voice, no tally sheet for pride, only a human pace and a steady light on the truth of this one day. In that light, the next day becomes less random and the horizon feels nearer even as it stretches far. Emotional life shifts under this rhythm. The nervous system stops bracing for a verdict each night. The body understands that the work will not be abandoned when it is slow. Shoulders lower, breath deepens. The thinking centers at the front of the brain regain their calm authority. Choices stop feeling like emergencies and begin to feel like music settling into tempo. Even the appetite for quick reward loses its grip. because the deeper reward of continuity has begun to feed the soul. The old surge that once demanded a show is replaced by a quiet satisfaction in work that carries weight. Solomon's field shows another mercy. Sowing is not a single moment. It is a way of moving through the day. Seed goes into morning ground and evening ground, because we do not know which will prosper or whether both will rise. In the life of a solitary man, this sounds like many small acts of care spread through ordinary hours. A careful email that carries dignity, a line practiced until it lands clean, a gentle word withheld because it would only inflate a fire. None of these would impress a crowd. All of these invite a harvest. There will be stretches when the horizon feels far enough to make the bones heavy. Hope thins, energy drops. You wonder whether your map is honest. Patience in such a stretch is not passive. It is the art of staying present with what is true without letting fear write the story. The story in those hours might sound like this. Today was hard, and that is allowed. My craft is still mine and will be waiting when the light returns. The season has not ended because the weather turned. This is the kind of sentence that keeps a man from burning down a field that only needed another dawn. The loop of learning quietly rewires the way the brain holds effort. Each time you notice what worked, the pathways carrying trust grow thicker. Each time you notice what wasted life, the alarms that protect your time become cleaner. Each time you notice what wisdom visited you, the pattern of meaning becomes easier to recognize. This threefold noticing does not make you rigid. It makes you responsive. You are no longer dragged by moods or dazzled by every new voice. You are guided by the record you are making with your own hands. Patience protects relationships as much as it protects work. When the horizon is long, people are not reduced to how useful they feel today. They are seen as partners in a story that will take time to tell. This transforms the climate around you. Conversations settle, promises carry less panic and more presence. Failures become places where skill is grown and trust is tested rather than places where shame takes over. Under such weather, loyalty has space to form. There is a quiet majesty to compounding, not the thin rush of sudden fame, but the warm gravity of days that agree with each other. Excellence repeated becomes character. Character repeated becomes legacy. None of this needs a trumpet. It needs a steady hand that refuses to treat every delay as a disaster. It needs a gaze that can see faint green under brown soil and call it good news. Long horizons do not cancel urgency. They cleanse it. Urgency becomes the clean push to honor the step that is here, not the frantic sprint to escape fear. Feedback does not feed shame. It feeds clarity. Together they form a road that does not collapse at the first turn. And somewhere along that road, often without noticing when it happened, a man looks up and realizes the season has turned. The field is alive. The work carries its own light. The patience he once feared would make him small has made him deep. Long horizons, short feedback loops. The words feel simple on the tongue and heavy in the bones. They carry the wisdom of a king who watched the seasons and learned the pace of a faithful life. Let them keep watch in the background as the days unfold. You will not always feel them working. Roots never announce themselves. But when the time is right, the surface tells the story the earth has written in secret. When the noise thins and the day grows honest, a pattern begins to show through all the chapters you have lived. A gate that learns to weigh what enters. Walls that learn to hold what matters. A small council where truth breathes without hurry. A workbench where patience turns precision into trust. A field where time is measured by seasons and not by panic. These are not separate rooms. They are one house. They are one life gathering itself into wholeness. Solitude stands at the door of this house, not as a guard who keeps the world out, but as a host who receives the world wisely. The room is quiet and alive. Breath is steady and warm. The body is heard without being obeyed in every impulse. The mind lays its tools on the table and chooses with care. The spirit bows to a wisdom that has watched centuries, a wisdom that knows the texture of human ache and the shape of human strength. In such a room, even regret becomes a teacher. Even fear loses its talent for theater. Self-government moves through the halls with quiet feet. It does not glare. It does not perform. It keeps the shape of the day so the day can carry weight. Inputs are gathered like water from a clean spring. Outputs leave like a river that knows its banks. When the walls are sound, you can welcome weather without losing yourself to it. Surprise remains possible. Chaos does not become king. The nervous system softens because boundaries remove the need for constant alarm. Calm is not a trick here. Calm is a structure. The council waits in a smaller room where air and light feel honest. 3 lights glow in steady harmony. Principle speaks to the bones when emotion surges. Craft teaches the hands to turn vision into work that can be carried. A mirror tells the truth without cutting the face that must hear it. The soul settles under this climate. Shame loses the upper hand because dignity stands nearer. Panic loosens because presence fills the chair. The mind begins to trust its own clarity again. The workbench remains the heart of the house. It smells of cedar and ink and oil and a little sweat. There are tools that fit the hand because the hand has shaped them and been shaped by them. There is the sweet ache of progress that arrives in grains and not in waves. This is where the sacred becomes familiar. This is where reverence becomes the way you hold a chisel and the way you trim a sentence and the way you set a shoulder before lifting a task. Here, confidence grows like a ring in a tree. Slow, true, easy to miss, until years have passed and strength can no longer be argued with. Beyond the windows, the field widens. Long rows wait in calm lines. Clouds move without asking permission. The horizon does not hurry. Feedback arrives at day's end like a kind visitor. There is no ledger of shame in its hands, only questions that warm the light. What strengthened today? What drained? What wisdom arrived? Tomorrow is decided by these small recognitions far more than by any dramatic vow. Compounding happens quietly. Excellence repeats until character is shaped. Character repeats until legacy wakes. A man who lives in such a house begins to carry a different weather. His presence lands like a steady barometer. People feel safer around him without knowing why. Words hold. Promises breathe. Decisions gather without heat. Influence happens without announcement because trust has been built out of the public eye. He is not thirsty for constant validation because his rooms have given him a home. He is not brittle because patience has given him depth. He is not loud because the work speaks in a voice that does not fray. The images tell a larger story when seen together. The gate is discernment that protects the inner court. The walls are self-government that carries dignity without spectacle. The council is guidance that keeps courage from turning reckless and keeps caution from turning small. The workbench is devotion that honors reality and not illusion. The field is time that keeps faith with the unseen until the seen becomes honest. These are Solomonic things. They belong to any man willing to live by them, and they return a harvest that cannot be faked. There is mercy for the days when you forget and begin again. The gate will still be there. The wall will still stand even if one corner needs repair. The table will still hold the 3 lights. The bench will still offer its quiet work. The field will still take seed. Nothing in this house mocks your stumbles. The house is patient because it was built by patience. It is strong because it was built by truth. It keeps its shape because it was shaped by love that refuses to turn cold. This is the mastery hidden in plain sight. Not a crown, not a spotlight, a way of being that steadies every room you enter, a way of seeing that keeps you from shrinking your life to the size of your latest feeling, a way of building that holds when storms decide to test what you have made. You are not a man escaping the world. You are a man becoming a place where the world can rest for a moment and remember what matters. Listen to the house that has been rising inside you while you watched and worked and waited. Listen to the doors that learned to weigh. Listen to the walls that learned to hold. Listen to the counsel that learned to speak without cutting. Listen to the bench that learned to sing. Listen to the field that learned to keep time with the sky. In that listening, a final question rises like dawn over the rose. If wisdom grows in chosen silence, which gate will rest tonight, and which seed will take the earth before the light returns? There is a moment after the work when the room grows still and the body finally believes it is safe. The breath settles low and warm. The heartbeat slows without being asked. In that stillness, a man can feel the shape of what he has been building, not a spectacle, a center, not an image, a weight. The quiet crown does not glitter, it rests. It is the lived proof that your inner city can hold weather without losing its form. You have walked through rooms that many never see clearly. The gate that weighs what enters, the walls that keep shape without cruelty, the small table where truth and skill and character share the same light, the workbench where patience kisses precision and turns it into trust, the field where seasons teach the hands to keep faith with what cannot be rushed. Each room left a scent on you, cedar and ink, oil and rain. Each room taught your nervous system a kinder rhythm than panic. Each room taught your mind to measure without scolding. Each room taught your heart to feel without drowning. A man changes when such rooms become his daily weather. He carries fewer arguments and more understanding. He does not shrink to fit another person's fear. He does not swell to cover his own. He stands in a human size that feels both humble and unmistakable. This is not a trick of confidence. It is memory hardened into presence. It is the softness that comes when shame retires and dignity takes the chair. It is the strength that comes when appetites learn they are welcome at the table, but not allowed to run the house. Mastery reveals itself in small signs that rarely make headlines. Quiet choices that align with what is right even when no one is taking notes. Steady hands that keep their shape when a conversation heats up. A pace that honors craft without worshipping hurry. The patience to let clarity arrive by walking the truth you already have. The mercy to repair quickly when you bruise what you love. None of this is loud. None of this is brittle. It moves with the confidence of someone held by something larger than himself. There is a spiritual intelligence alive in this way. It knows that wisdom is not a trophy, but a relationship. It knows that the holy does not only visit altars, it visits breath and attention and work that serves more than ego. It visits the moment when you release the sentence that would have won the room but cost a piece of your soul. It visits the moment when you accept correction without shrinking and grow stronger in the same breath. It visits the moment when you let an old story end so a better one can begin. Without applause. Legacy begins quietly under this weather, not as a monument of the self, as a climate that helps others heal. People breathe easier near a man who has become a place. The room steadies when he enters because his rooms have steadied him. Decisions take on the sound of truth rather than the sound of winning. Promises keep their softness and their steel. Influence becomes a shelter rather than a performance. In time, doors open that no shouting could have forced. In time, trust arrives carrying invitations that fit. Listen to the way this hour feels in your body. Notice the space between breaths. Notice the room inside your chest. Notice the quiet that does not demand silence from the world to remain itself. This is the crown you can wear without hands. It will not slip when the day turns sharp. It will not vanish when no one sees you. It sits where your life has become aligned. It sits where your solitude and your counsel and your craft and your seasons have woven one fabric. A final question waits like a lamp by the door. If wisdom grows in chosen silence, which gate will rest tonight, and which seed will take the earth before the light returns?